is former Executive Director, Peasant Farmers Association. Doc, good morning and thank you very much for your time.
Good morning, Sena. And let me say good morning to your colleagues at the stadium.
I hope you're well.
Yeah, I'm good.
First, let's start with the announcement from Burkina Faso on exports of tomatoes. How significant an impact do you think it will have on Ghana?
Sena, as a farmer, I think our position is very clear. We expected this to happen earlier, and it didn't happen. So I'm not seeing this as a surprise. If you talk of impact, we usually depend on Burkina Faso between December to first and second week of May. That's the period they supply tomatoes. After that period, their tomatoes would have been exhausted. So it means we are talking of virtually 1 month period that we go there. Now, within this 1 month period, if you are somebody who have experience in that belt, our women go as far as Mali to bring the tomatoes. Places like Wajia that they used to go now, everything is finished. So to me, the impact is not going to be that great. After all, the supply had already reduced. Prices would have still been higher, whether they bring it or they don't bring it. But see, I'm seeing a huge opportunity here for us to develop our local tomatoes industry. Especially, it came at a time when we have a president who is a farmer. Throughout the election, we had face-to-face engagement with him. After we did several campaigns for the previous administration to fulfill their promise of revamping the program of Pepper Down, which failed, I arranged the meeting with the current president, who also disappointed with what happened and promised that is going to be one of the projects that he consider when he gets the opportunity to come to power. So I think this is just a reminder to him that the promise he had with us, we still have confidence in him because he wants to ensure that we are a food sovereign country. He wants to ensure that we create jobs for our people through the agriculture sector. And this is an area that can prevent the youth in the north from traveling to the south to go and do galamsey. So for us, I think it's a good news and it's not going to impact on our food security facing that much.
I see. Very interesting. Because you're saying between December and is it the first or second week of May?
Yes, please. First, second week of May.
Oh, that's why we are seeing the prices of tomatoes skyrocket?
Yes, so actually, people try to link the current prices to the announcement by Burkina Faso. But we, those who are on the field, we know that's not the case. It's not only tomatoes. Even if you look at the chili or pepper, some 2 months ago, we were selling the basin around 60 cities, 60, 80 cities. And then today, the same basin is going for 500, 600 cities. But we are getting it in country because the supply is getting down. Usually, from now going, the underground water that most of the farmers are using by drilling boreholes, everything is getting finished. So maintaining your crops from now to May becomes difficult. And the same facing the Burkina Faso, the Nigerians, and the Mali people are facing. So automatically prices have gone up, even if this announcement didn't come.
Oh, okay. So for you, for this period, it's usually normal for prices to go up?
Yes, of course.
Do we have the capacity to cover for the period you talk about, the December to the first and second week of May? Can we produce within that period for the consumption of the Ghanaian?
No, in terms of production, we won't be able to because we don't produce tomatoes within a month. So we only rely on those farmers who have already produced. But let me also draw your attention that sometimes we don't depend on only Burkina for fresh tomatoes. We sometimes, if you go to most of the shop malls, we get some from Morocco, we get some from South Africa, and then we import some. So usually from now until the second week of May, And the tomatoes we get is less than 50% would have actually come from Burkina. So even though we may feel it a bit, but I don't think it's going to be that different from if the announcement hadn't come.
First, I want to understand what will happen from now to the second week of May that will ameliorate the situation. Exactly what will happen within that period?
I think this year, if you look at the whole globe, if you look at per capita consumption of tomatoes, Ghana will consume tomatoes a lot. People use tomatoes to prepare their sauce and everything. So we need to make adjustment. That's the only option. Then we now have to do a vigorous engagement with farmers. Because farmers are already preparing. They see it as an opportunity for us to expand their businesses. And also those who are not into tomato production, all of them are gearing up. That as long as this border issue is coming up, because it's one of the constraints that discourages many people from going to tomato farming, and those who are into tomato farming to also divert into other crops. So if the market is going to be created for that announcement, to me, I think we just have to prepare ourselves as Ghanaians to accept these short period shocks and then support the local farmers for us to become self-sufficient in tomato production and going forward.
And you said this should be a reminder to the current regime of the promise to revamp the Polugu multipurpose dam.
Yes, please.
How big a deal is the Polugu multipurpose dam when it comes to tomatoes?
You see, when you talk of Polugu dam, if you're familiar with the area, it covers 4 regions. If you're able to revamp the Polugu, it's going to create jobs for 4 regions. Because the white water runs through from Polugu through that upper east, northeast, northern, savannah regions. So if this dam, and along that belt, even without the dam, when you go there right now, you see farmers cultivating onions, others doing garden, pepper, tomatoes, and what have you. But most of the areas where you go there, I mean, the river itself is silted. Okay? And there are others who also drill boreholes along that belt to use to do vegetable farming. So we are very confident that if the program of the Purpose Dam is constructed, it's going to create a huge opportunity for jobs, not only tomatoes, for other arable crops and then fishing. But if you talk of tomatoes to be specific, I don't want us to put all our hope in program of the Purpose Dam because that's going to take a very long time. It will be more than we should expect it to get completed within a year or 2. But there are other low-hanging areas that we can direct our investment in. We have the VIA, we have the Tono, we have the smaller dams within the communities. When you go to the middle belt, you have the Akuma dams. We also have the huge potential there. Chobodon, Timtempo, Pitman area, or even when you come to Greater Accra, Adan, Pampran area, or do you produce tomatoes? Except attention have not been given to these packets of production areas. That's why sometimes they do it in small quantity and then they have to pile back. Because the moment Burkina starts coming, attention goes to Burkina and nobody has interest in dealing with the Ghanaian local tomato producers.
Let me conclude by asking you, what do you think? Because I also hear that Greek minister saying he'll be holding a stakeholders consultative forum sort of today. But I wonder what you think is the best response from the government to this. What should they be doing? What should they not be doing?
Yeah, so for us, our position is clear. We think that when the Burkina-based made an announcement, we even thought the first point of call should have been the farmers who are in the tomato growing areas. So we were disappointed that the first point of call was to go and engage Burkina-Bay authority to see how they would rather allow our women to go there, produce themselves, some get killed, to bring us tomatoes. When you have people in country who are willing to do things, and sometimes I'm not too happy how we do the consultation. If this is happening, the key people, number one, stakeholders who have solution to the problem is the farmers. Usually we think that, we can do our consultation in Accra, we can do town hall meetings, and then whatever decision we arrive at, we can impose it on the farmer. It is a reason most of the policies we design do not work. I said, we have our platform. Since the announcement came, farmers started mobilizing themselves, putting ourselves in the groups, gearing up to produce. But we don't have any invitation from any government. We've not had any engagement with any government that, okay, so what do we do? So this town hall meeting you are telling me, it's just news. You are breaking news to me. I'm not aware of. But our members are cutting across between growing age. You get it? So if you, and it's typical of the agri minister to hold meetings outside, disregard farmers, and come and make press conferences that it's what is happening. You go to the grassroots and it doesn't work. So for us, this town meeting, if that is the angle we are going to take to address the crisis, I don't think it will help much.
I see. You said it's typical of him to hold meetings, disregard farmers. You're saying that he's not consulting farmers the way you expect him to.
Now, you go back from November to date. You hear the cry that we made about our rice not being bought, rice being stuck on the fields and in warehouses. We did demonstrations. We presented letters to him. Somebody who is appointed to oversee some of these things, the first thing to have done is to go and visit the warehouses and see what his people are crying, whether it's true or not. As we speak, the agri minister has not seen the need to visit any warehouse anywhere to find out whether what the farmers are telling him is true or not. Several attempts have been made to engage to see how the problem will be addressed. He never mind us. To the extent that the president gave a directive, I don't want to fault the president. He has very good intentions for farmers, except that he put wrong people to deal with the farmers. President gave directives that school feeding program, all government institutions should buy local rice. They refuse with impunity, and those people are still in power. They are still the people leading in the sector development. So if we begin to behave like this, what is the difference between us and Akufo-Addo and Ken Ofo-Atta? When Kenyans were crying that Ken was killing this country, Akufo-Addo never listened. And we, the farming sector, the agri sector, that's the development we are beginning to see. And when I get opportunity, I always want the message to get to the president that farmers are keenly watching. They are not happy. As long as they like him, they think that his appointees are not taking his directives, and it's affecting the agricultural performance.
I see. Very interesting. Doc, thank you very much for speaking to us.
You're welcome, Senator.
Dr. Charles Nyaaba is former executive director, Peasant Farmers Association, joining us on the line, taking us to exactly 41 minutes past 9. Of course, we're still discussing this matter of tomatoes and what has happened. We're open to speak to Dr. Peter Buama Otokuno, who is Director of Presidential Initiatives in Agriculture and Agribusiness at the Office of the President. We'll be speaking to him shortly. But in the meantime, let me remind you that the Ghana Exim Bank is 10 years old. And the reason I'm telling you this is because as part of the celebration of marking the 10 years, they are hosting an international conference on the theme, A Decade of Enabling Export Trade and Industrial Transformation, Resetting Ghana Exim for the Next Frontier. And that international conference will begin today. It's a 2-day conference, today and tomorrow. So 25th, 26th at the Kempinski Gold Coast City Hotel, Accra, at 8 a.m. each day. 8 a.m. each day. So it has started already. And of course, there will be a grand opening of the conference today. The conference will bring together captains of industry, thought leaders, and decision makers in the